Washington, but all across the country, people gathered along that train route to watch the fallen leader. The people and our nation's leaders this year maybe could learn something from the history's most praised president.
So what do we learn from President Abraham Lincoln? Here with more is presidential historian and author of America's Star-Spangled Story, Jane Hampton Cook. Great to see you, Jane. Thanks for coming on this morning. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So Abraham Lincoln was an extremely controversial president in his time, but the farther we have gone from his assassination 150 years ago this week, maybe the clearer the outlines are. What are the key lessons that we draw from his presidency?
Well, he was a legend in his own time by some. The woman, Elizabeth Keckley, a freed slave who made dresses for Mary Lincoln, asked if she could have Lincoln's glove after his second inauguration. And Mary said, "Why? It'll be dirty. He's shaken hundreds of hands." And she said, "I want the glove as a memento of the man who has done so much for my race. He's been a Jehovah to my people. He's released us from bondage into light, darkness into light." So he was a legend back then, and that has just grown, as you have said, over the years. If we've looked back at his legacy and seen he was a practical, humble guy who did hard things as a leader.
What can these candidates right now learn from President Lincoln? You mentioned the humble aspect, and I was struck by some reports out about Hillary Clinton's advisors and bringing on different people to advise her to teach her how to be a little bit more humble, maybe less braggadocious. Maybe taking a page from Abraham Lincoln might be appropriate.
Well, you know, he had some self-deprecating humor. A freed slave, Sojourner Truth, said to him, "You are the greatest president who's ever taken this seat." And he said, "You're referring to the emancipation of slaves." He said, "You know, Washington would have done it if his time had come." And he deprecated himself. It wasn't all about him. And I think that's what's missing sometimes. Life is all about the candidate when it needs to be all about the American people. And that, I think, projects, you know, further down the road when it's about you, the people, not me, the candidate.
And what lessons can GOP candidates take away? We have two with their hats already in the ring: Rand Paul, Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio set to announce tomorrow in Miami. What do you think?
Well, you know, Lincoln came in with this policy of containment. I'm going to just contain slavery to the South. We're not going to expand it in the West. And then he changed because it would have been easier to just let the country split into two countries. That really would have been easier. So I think the lesson is sometimes the harder way is really the long-term better way. And that's a lesson that I think our candidates can learn today. And really the most important promise is the promise that they take when they take that oath of office to preserve, protect, and defend the United States. And that's what Lincoln did so well.
Yeah, he certainly did. Took a lot. 800,000 people died. Jane Hampton Cook joining us this morning. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.